And had the ball for 12:09 to 7:51 for Dallas first half, but Cowboys made the most of their opportunities. Lohmiller's kickoff deep and will not be brought out by Cornell Burbage, and Cowboys will start first down from their own 20. And if you could just use that kick as a gauge, it would appear that there's a noticeable wind difference blowing in that direction. Steve Pallor comes out barehanded. He has passed successfully in the first half, coming off a good effort last week in the losing cause against Cleveland. And I would think Tom Landry's got to be happy with his quarterback in this first half, Dan.
Yeah, look at the numbers there. I mean, that's a good first half for any quarterback. And Steve Pallor had his problems at the middle of the season and was benched for a while, but he's come back strong in a lot of part of the regular season.
Herschel Walker shifts into the slot left. Motion behind the ball, the tight end, and it's Todd Fowler, fullback number 46, picking up about 3, and some extracurricular activity at the bottom of the stack. Wilbur Marshall and Dave Wydell.
Well, you know, Wilbur was right in the mix there. Never a shrinking violet, Wilbur Marshall. Well, you look at the way that guy is built, and that, I mean, that when you see him walking around, you know, that's NFL linebacker walking around. This guy is so muscled up, it's unbelievable. Had a couple of ovens that he won the other day, a couple of microwaves. Wouldn't even share them with the other fellas on the team. I thought he was going to give one to his dog.
For a doghouse, 2nd and 7. First down pass to Alexander. Ray Alexander from Florida A&M in the Canadian Football League. Injured reserve a year ago, has been somewhat of a surprise for the Cowboys this year. 49 catches coming into the game. Olkowitz and Clarence Vaughn on the tackle.
Talking with Ray Alexander, he recognizes the fact that he is one of those young guys who this team has come to depend on, and certainly recognizes the duties and the responsibilities of being a starting wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, you had to like his attitude, but they're looking ahead. The young players know what they've got in Dallas, and they're ready to wipe the slate and get something happening next year. Well, flags everywhere. The ball never came up. Were they drawn or did they jump? And it looks like Dallas will get it.
Number 16, offense.
Well, they call it against Pallor. Against Pallor. Maybe a hard count call on him. The ball never came up. He gets the penalty.
Well, the one thing you can't do is if you've not been moving your head or shrugging your shoulders as a quarterback and you suddenly do it on a hard snap count, which I think Steve Pallor does here. You see him jerking those shoulders down. That pulls that defense off. And that's what a lot of times the officials will look at and say, hey, look, you didn't do that before. And suddenly you tried this hard snap count to bring those guys offside. And that's what happened.
Well, we mentioned in the second period that Darrell Green left the game for Washington with a fractured wrist. Dennis Woodbury took over at that time, but now the Redskins have Clarence Vaughn, number 31, second-year man from Northern Illinois, on the right corner and green spot. Herschel Walker gets back over the original line of scrimmage. A 6-yard pickup stopped by Alvin Walton, and it will leave 2nd and 9.
Herschel Walker comes again on a nice little slant up in here, right in the middle of the defense. You see a couple of traps. Nate Newton again gets a trap on Dave Butts. One thing the Cowboys have been trying to do is take advantage of that over pursuit and aggressiveness of the Redskins defensive line by trapping them once they get across that line of scrimmage.
Redskins shift to the 3-4, something they don't use too much, but it gets Raven Caldwell in the game, number 50, the extra linebacker. And Pallor changing up here as he sees that new Skins defense. Walker picks up 4. Mel Kaufman on the tackle.
What he's looking at is he's getting something very similar to that 46 or bear look, so he's going to try to work outside on that thing.
An injured Cowboy down. That is Dave Wydell, the left tackle, Boston College rookie. And with that timeout on the field, we'll take this break and be back in a moment to RFK Stadium.
And now what happens is as he's going along on his block, he gets tripped over from the backside by one of his own linemen. Now just right about there in the top of your screen, you'll see him going down. And look at that knee up in the air. And that's the one that went out on him. Still being picked up off the field as we speak.
And now they got him on his feet, and he's being assisted off by a couple of teammates. That'll bring Darrell Smith into the game, number 79, who plays normally on the obvious passing downs. And now that evidently Wydell just unable to take that weight on his legs, so they're going to carry him off. Don't forget, we've got more football action ahead. Look at that critical game, New Orleans at San Francisco. That's the big one of the day. Atlanta at the LA Rams. Now the Redskins, should they win here today, will be cheering for Atlanta. They need 2 Atlanta victories this week and next week in order to have any shot at a wild card spot. They need some additional help too, but that game will be very important to Washington should they win here. If they lose to the Cowboys, sayonara. 3rd down. Dallas at their own 39-yard line. Valor under pressure, deep for Martin, for Irvin. Michael Irvin will score. Touchdown. Steve Valor with all that heat. The blitz on. He saw that coverage. Woodbury against Irvin, and Irvin comes up with it.
And again, what happened on this play is the Redskins had 9 men up on the line of scrimmage, 2 defensive backs. Woodbury's in one-on-one coverage with Michael Irvin, and he simply gets beat. Dennis Woodbury is having a tough time when we were at practice on Friday covering men one-on-one, and it was kind of funny then, but it's not very funny now when you see it in the ballgame on Sunday.
Michael Irvin, a 61-yard touchdown pass from Steve Valor, and Valor cementing his position in this Cowboy quarterback picture of his performance so far today. Ruzek with a point after. And Dallas, with only 2 victories on the season, takes the lead 17-3.
Now, the Redskins have been in this defense 3 times, and 3 times Steve Valor has gone downfield for 2 touchdowns and 1 almost touchdown, and that's the kind of pressure you get after you release the football. But hey, he knew he had struck money and gold down there with Michael Irvin for the 2nd time today. And the same defense, 2 defensive backs, everybody else up on the line of scrimmage, and Steve Valor just takes full advantage of it. As a result, the Cowboys lead 17-3.
Well, Valor had struggled through much of the early part of the season. A quarterback not reached maturity as yet in the view of the coaching staff, made critical mistakes at critical times. But last week against Cleveland, an outstanding game, and doing well here today. Look at Houston over Cincinnati in that game. The Giants beating Kansas City 14-6, and New England still with playoff hopes alive. Tony Eason started that game today in place of Doug Flutie. Hasn't played since 1986, I think. In that Houston game, Omer Esiason with only 7 yards passing into the 3rd period. Of course, Cincinnati already into the playoffs. Houston trying to get there. Sanders, the deep man for Washington. Ruzek's kickoff. Short at the 19, Sanders. Straightened up by Bates at the 29-yard line of the Redskins. Let's have another look at that touchdown, Dan.
Tim, I'd mentioned the fact that the Redskins had 9 men up on the line of scrimmage. There you see all 9 of them. Now that means there's only 2 defensive backs back there in the secondary. What happens is, to the bottom of your screen, Michael Irvin is working against Dennis Woodbury on the play, and he just simply outruns him. And Steve Valor just lost that ball up, and Irvin's got great speed downfield. This guy out of the University of Miami just makes that over-the-shoulder catch and styles into the end zone.
So Washington now will have to crank it up. Doug Williams and company at the 29. Jamie Morris on 1st down. The ball is loose. Looks like the Redskins have recovered. Art Monk alertly spotting that ball, had to climb over a Dallas defender, and he did come up with it. Jamie Morris having a little trouble holding on.
Tim, I remember when we came in with the Chicago Bears, when I was with the Bears, we came into the RFK Stadium. The Redskins needed to win the last game of the regular season in order to get into the playoffs, and they played much the same way then as they are playing today, without that spark and emotion that you would think that the team would have if they can make that stretch run and quite possibly get into the playoffs. They do not seem to be turning it up that extra notch that you need to get the job done.
Well, we got about 15 minutes left to do it of playing time in this 3rd quarter. Morris for a first down, Washington. And for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger, New York. Day by the Redskins. 9:53 to go in the third quarter. Trailing 17-3. They have a first down at their 41. Williams wants to throw to Gary Clark. He's got it. First down to the Cowboy 40. Bates on the tackle.
This is the point in the game if you're the Redskins and you're the former champions of the National Football League. This is when you start picking it up. Now let's look what that front line is doing for Doug Williams. They're giving them protection, keeping those throwing lanes open. Gary Clark comes across the middle for the reception. But that's now the mark of a champion when you come back, even when you may not make it to the playoffs, but you bristle up a little bit and you say, hey, we still got something left to fight for.
Well, Gary Clark himself was the one saying that in the locker room on Friday, that we want to win these last two games, have a winning season. We're not thinking about the playoffs. That's unrealistic. Need too much help. Williams for Monk. Incomplete.
Doug Williams is complaining. He says his receivers are getting jammed all the way down the field.
Dallas just dominated Washington offensively. Steve Fuller's second consecutive solid outing. In fact, even though they didn't win last week, he had himself a real good afternoon, and so far he's been the boss today. Doug Williams trying to crank it up here for the Redskins. Such a leader. The 40-yard line, 2nd and 10. Incomplete. Mike Oliphant. Looked like Albritton might have got a hand on the ball. A good try by Oliphant to bring it in. Lockhart then arriving as Oliphant tried to make the grab.
Doug felt that he was running out of time in the pocket. He really had some more time, though. Now, you'll see him slide over to his left just a little bit here, and now he throws it off to Mike Oliphant. Oliphant tries to come back for the ball because it's thrown behind him, makes a great effort there, and just barely misses the football. That was a good effort.
3rd and 10.
Ernie Stott there, the defensive line coach for the Cowboys. I said, that's what a coach looks like, Ernie Stott. Great guy.
Sanders in motion. Williams going deep. He's got Sanders. Touchdown! The score. Williams to Ricky Sanders.
Doug Williams off the play action. Hard to believe you can have successful play action when you don't have a successful running game. Doug Williams finds Sanders downfield, though. He just stretches this one out. He's got Manny Hendricks beat all the way. Get that one-on-one coverage when you have your safeties come up and they react to that play action pass. And oh, he just trips down in the end zone there. That's not the graceful way to exit after you made the touchdown score.
40-yard touchdown strike. Miller with a point after. The Redskins right back in the thick of it. 8:45 to go. Third quarter. Dallas leads it 17-10.
They take on their man real strong up on the line of scrimmage. Then you see those arms shooting out, and they're stopping their man right on the line of scrimmage. Gives Doug Williams all kinds of time to look downfield. And finally, he finds Sanders in the end zone for the touchdown.
Nice adjustment by Ricky Sanders, turning around.
And running away from the defender into the end zone.
Now the crowd into it here at RFK. Miller nails the kickoff. 5 yards deep. Cornell Burbage will not bring it up. And as we see the scoring drive here for the Redskins. 70 yards on 6 plays, a 40-yard pass. Williams to Sanders. You know, you picked up something there, Dan, on the way they blocked on that pass play. Is something they started last week against the Eagles, having not done it frequently during the season. The offensive line decided they would push out like that, and it was very effective. They caught the Eagles unaware. Now it's used to effect here against Dallas today.
What it does is it allows your quarterback to get that spacing between his offensive line and his setup in the backfield.
First down, Cowboys. Play action for Pallure. He'll run it. Out to the 29-yard line, short of the first down by about a yard. Todd Bowles there to cover him.
We were talking with Coach Landry yesterday. One of the questions I wanted to ask him was about the Dallas shift. When you see that offensive line go up and then go back down, and he confirmed something that I heard a long, long time ago, and that is the fact that they started to do that shift to disguise the offense, so the defense lost sight of the offense for just that second, and at the same time allowed them to do some motion in the backfield. So it does have a purpose, even though it looks like they might be doing some fancy dancing.
Second and less than a yard for the Cowboys. Tight end Chandler in motion now behind the ball. And Walker blasting for the first down. Really fired off the ball, and while he pushed back, he had the first down easily.
Hey, what, if you want to stop him, you better bring some help.
Well, the help came from Bowles, Olkowitz, and Marshall, and he still got the first down. He was really firing.
He had a walking stick that someone had apparently given him last night. And, he was kind of excited about that. It had his name carved in on it and all the rest of that. You made a comment about it.
A handsome walking stick. I think it's called a knob carry. He was proud to have it. There's a Walker Dallas Cowboys carved on it. A fan here in Washington. There's Walker again. He gets about 2 to the 35-yard line. Todd Bowles meets him there. Wilbur Marshall. Walker, as we pointed out coming into this game, the number 2 in combined yardage in the entire league. Just having himself an outstanding season. Bears on top of Detroit. Look at this, 16-3 now. Don Mikowski's 11-yard pass to Patrick Scott. And the Vikings, who have been really playing well lately, trying to catch the Bears and being roadblocked by Green Bay. Second down, 8. And Cowboys change up at the line, it appeared. Walker finds a good hole, and he may have the first down. Very close to it. Looks like the spot will be first down, Dallas. Jerry Mark Price says yes, it is. To the 43-yard line of the Cowboys.
Okay, now you're the linebacker. This is what you're looking at, number 34. Got a little draw action back here. Herschel takes the handoff, and here he comes. He gets the first down on this play, of course. Now look at that leg drive. Nice little lean forward there. Just as he's reaching that goal of where he wants to get, that's the first down marker. And he got it. Of course, those big guys up front, look at Gogan and those guys. That's the reason why that thing is working for him. That running game is working because those men up front are blocking for him.
Play action fake to Walker. Pass to the tight end, Chandler. Gets about 8 as he stumbled with Walton hanging on him. Got to midfield.
We talked to Herschel Walker, and he said, hey, look, I want to be the total complete football player. You just saw him run for the first down yardage. Next play, he comes back. That play blocks Raven Caldwell coming in on the blitz, number 50, and simply takes him out. Now watch over on the right side of your screen. Watch Herschel Walker come in and get a nice block on Caldwell here. Right there. He puts it on him, takes those hands down right away, and Steve Floor is able to complete the pass.
Walker in trouble, but breaks loose. Tripped up, diving, trying to get to the first down marker. Wound up with about a 3-yard gain, but short of the first down. Clarence Vaughn tripped him up. Walker came into this game needing 147 rushing yards to be the best ever season rusher for the Cowboys. He's got 80 today. Dorsett set that mark in 1981, 1,646 yards. He's got one more game, of course, has...
Yeah, you look at overall, though, I know Herschel wants to have the same kind of consistency over the years that Tony Dorsett had.
They're down and 2. Walker again. And the Redskins may have stopped him. This will be close. This will be close. From our view, it looks like the Cowboys have it, but we'll wait till they unstack. Charles Mann, Neil Olkowitz jamming up the middle. And it is short. 4th down, less than a yard. Punting unit comes on for the Cowboys. Anthony Allen goes back to the 10-yard line of the Redskins to await the punt from Saxon. Ball bounces upfield, and the Cowboys will down it at the Washington 24-yard line. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage. Just a 24-yard punt into the wind.
We go man downfield, and somebody left a little early on the play. You know, one thing you know about Jerry Markwright and his crew, Jerry doesn't miss very much, you know, so you can't argue against him too much. This guy's a good official.
Illegal man downfield on the kick. Kicking team penalty declined. First down, timeout.
We have a timeout at RFK Stadium. 3:18 to go, third quarter. 17-10 Dallas. Cheering on his Redskins. Williams almost picked up. Throwing it on a rope intended for Oliphant. Eugene Lockhart diving out to try and make the pickoff.
Eugene Lockhart right there. Looking at him. Hey, this guy, now watch him drop back in the zone here. You see him take off in that zone. He's making the read. Watching Doug Williams all the way. You see his eyes never leave Doug Williams. Now watch him come over in here and almost make the interception. Boy, he had that one. We talked to him last night. He said he was ready to play some football and beat up on some Redskins. And he almost beat up on you, and you call him Jim Lockhart.
Well, I tell you, he was really, he was wired for sure last night. Doug Williams, meanwhile, down and hurt on the rush. That's Noonan on him. A lot of weight. 285 pounds of Danny Noonan.
And you see Doug is fighting a little bit, trying to get up off the ground there.
Well, as they attend to Doug Williams, we'll take this timeout. Return you to RFK in a moment. Up on the sidelines is Doug Williams, injured on the last play. We've got a long way to go in this game. 3:13 to go in the third.
Here Danny Noonan comes in on Doug Williams. After Doug Williams has delivered the football, Noonan is making his move. And he just simply runs right over Doug Williams. Doug Williams is down on the ground, and they are still tending to him. And now it appears they're trying to pick him up off the ground and bring him over to the sideline. But Mark Rippon will come in and play for Doug Williams. And Tim, you had an opportunity to talk to Rip yesterday.
Yes, his attitude about being given the hook last week was a very healthy one. He says, hey, I've had my shot to start for the Redskins, and he said, you know, I just didn't get it done. And, he understands that there's going to be a lot more football ahead for young Mark Rippon. And we see Williams kind of tenderly coming off of that passing arm of his. Rippon goes on the field, so we'll try and get a report on Doug Williams.
That either was the wrist or the arm, and of course he had a little problem with the arm last week, and he had to come out of the ball game and after replacing Mark Rippon.
Yeah, that was a bruised shoulder, so we'll see if there's a connection here. But Mark Rippon is on, second-year man from Washington State. Goes right to the air and hits Gary Clark. Clark wants to run with it, but he was down by Ron Francis. And a first down, Redskins. So Mark Rippon starts off 1 for 1 and a first down. It looks like he might have hurt his hand. Either that or it's frozen.
I think that cold weather that you've been talking about all day has got the rip.
He'll have no excuse. He's from Calgary, Alberta. Now, when you're talking cold, you're talking Calgary.
Now, he gets a little bit of pressure here. Riley McKenzie's trying to help him out up front, but Kevin Brooks finally gets to him just as he releases the ball. But that just kind of rolls him up a little bit. Quarterbacks get used to that. That helps heat him up a little bit in the ball game.
Well, he did take a smack on the hand, but he's got a first down. Jamie Morris. Morris gets about 6. Running straight ahead, Gary Cobb and Eugene Lockhart to stop on him. And Williams limbering up over there. See how that arm feels, or the hand, or the wrist. We didn't get a report from the Redskins as yet, but it looks like he's all right. 11 of 27 today. Bomb to Sanders, bringing the Redskins back to within 7. 40-yard touchdown strike here in the third quarter. Jamie Morris burrows his way for about 4 yards, leaving a third and about 1.5 yards. Cobb on the tackle.
Again, that's that same little play up inside and try to run it over the left side, bend it back over the center, and try to squeeze up in there and get maybe about 4 or 5 yards out of that same play.
Morris now up to 25 yards on 12 carries. On this 3rd and short, Ed Simmons comes in as an extra blocker up front, along with Craig McEwen. Play action. Deep for Terry Orr. He'll score. Touchdown, Redskins. Call. 3rd and short, bring in the blockers, show the run, and then go up top for the distance. 55 yards. Mark Rippon to Terry Orr. A couple of backup guys. Two proud teams locked in a struggle here. Lohmiller has it. We are tied at RFK Stadium. 17-17.
Well, I tell you what, Mark Rippon came in, and who said you can't cook with cold grease? This guy comes in off the bench. Play action there to Jamie Morris. Now, Rip just lets it fly downfield, and Terry Orr's got his guy beat all the way. You see, he's pulling away to that sideline. That sets him up. Gets away from Michael Downs, and he just heads in for the 6 points. But the key thing is that play action really pulled everybody up. And look at that reaction by Rip. Jamie Morris is jumping up to try to hug him.
And he needs a ladder to do that, though. Mark Rippon, well, I don't know how he stayed warm on the sidelines in this rather chilly RFK, but he certainly delivered there. And Terry Orr with the score. Word on Doug Williams, bruised shoulder, evidently the same problem he had last week. You know, when we asked him about that on Friday, it's no problem. You know, you got to play with it. That's the way it is. That's the way taciturn Doug is, whatever's required. And it wouldn't be no surprise to see him come back into the ball game. But meanwhile, Mark Rippon delivers. Miller's kicked out to the 4-yard line. Darryl Platt for the Cowboys. Out to the 26-yard line. Well, this one really developing into the kind of a game you would expect from these great rivals, even though they don't have the big stuff on the line today. And we've got big stuff ahead. New Orleans at San Francisco. In our doubleheader action, some of you will see Atlanta at the LA Rams, and the Falcons coming on. And Chris Miller looking better and better each week at quarterback for Atlanta. The Rams off to such a great start this season, staggering a bit lately. And Washington hoping they can get help from Atlanta today.
And Atlanta no longer is a gimme in the National Football League. These guys have really been playing well. The Rams are very much aware of that.
No Dallas led in this ball game initially. Took the lead at halftime. Now into a tie. Fuller, Alexander, first down.
See, this is the thing you have to like about these young Cowboys. You know, a situation where you could be deflated when the other team, the opposition, gets the touchdown, the big touchdown pass on you. But you see what they do. They come right back. Fleur's firing out to Ray Alexander. These guys are going to stay active, and they're going to fight you right to the very end. And that's the reason why when you look at 89 and what they're going to come back with, Tom Landry's got to be excited and want another shot at ending up his career on a correct kind of note.
First down, Dallas. Chandler in motion. Screen pass, Platt. A flag on the play as Platt runs into traffic at the line of scrimmage. Got only a couple. That'll bring us to the end of the quarter, but we have a flag down on the play.
Maybe a block thrown downfield on the screen pass. Herschel Walker was in the general vicinity.
Illegal motion, number 88, offense. penalty declined, second down.
Okay, I'm sorry, Herschel. I don't want him to come after me with that stick.
Okay, that's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Cowboys 17, the Redskins 17. We now pause for a word from your local station.